Bear with us until our speakers are ready. I want to say a few things about our speakers. We will have, as moderator, Dr. Angelos Menelaou, Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Maritime and Transport and Commerce, School of Business and Law from Frederick University, and Group Business Controller, Marlow Navigation. And our panelists are Captain Eugen Henning Adami, Chairman of Cyprus Foundation of the Sea, Owner and Managing Director of Mastermind Group, Natalia Loyal, President of WISTA Cyprus, Chief Operations Officer at Tototheo Maritime, and Mr. Tom Lord, Marina Manager, Limassol Marina.
Καταρχήν να ευχαριστήσω τους διοργανωτές για εκ μέρους των όλων των panelists που μας έκαναν την τιμή να μας καλέσουν σε αυτό το πολύ σημαντικό φόρουμ. Θα ξεκινήσω μιλώ στα ελληνικά, να συνεχίσω λίγο εκεί που έμειναν οι προηγούμενοι και βλέποντας και την Επίτροπο Περιβάλλοντος να είναι μαζί μας, να συνεχίσω λίγο την κουβέντα στο θέμα της ενέργειας και να πω κάτι έτσι απλώς σε αριθμούς που μας αφορά όλους. Είχαμε το 2022, αν δεν κάνω λάθος, περίπου έναν κόστος 300 εκατομμύρια όσον αφορά τους ρήπους. Στην αρχή ηλεκτρισμού, κόστος το οποίο έχει επομισθεί το κάθε σπίτι των οικογενειών. Με έτσι απλά μαθηματικά, να πω ότι στην Κύπρο το κάθε σπίτι των οικογενειών κατά μέσον όρο αποτελείται από 2,7 άτομα. Αν δεν κάνω λάθος, είναι το τελευταίο αποτέλεσμα από την Στατιστική Υπηρεσία της Κύπρου. Αυτό σημαίνει ότι περίπου 330.000 νοικοκυριά υπάρχουν στην Κύπρο που έχουν επομιστεί έναν κόστος χρονιαίων κάπου 900 ευρώ. Αυτό που θα ήθελα να πω και με αυτό το παράδειγμα που μου έδωσε την ευκαιρία η προηγούμενη συζήτηση να το αναφέρω, είναι ότι η μετάβαση, η ενεργειακή μετάβαση δεν είναι απλά στόχος, είναι μια υποχρέωση πια. Είναι ένας υποχρεωτικός στόχος, αν τα ενώσουμε και τα δύο. Και το Mission Cities, αυτό το πολύ σημαντικό πρόγραμμα, μας δίνει μια ευκαιρία να χρησιμοποιήσουμε ευρωπαϊκά κονδύλια για να κάνουμε λίγο speed up που λέμε, να προχωρήσουμε λίγο πιο γρήγορα προς την επίτευξη του στόχου που είναι η ενεργειακή μετάβαση, είναι το climate, η κλιματική ουδετερότητα, είναι η έξυπνη πόλη. Με αυτό το παράδειγμα, αν και δεν ανήκει στη θεματική που αντιπροσωπεύω σήμερα ως moderator, θα ήθελα να το ενώσω λίγο με το προηγούμενο, να αναφέρω ότι παρόλες τις καθυστερήσεις, διατμηματική διαχείριση και τις καθυστερήσεις που αναφέρθηκαν προηγουμένως, πρέπει να βρούμε λύσεις για να προχωρήσουμε ραγδαία προς την ενεργειακή μετάβαση, γιατί ο χρόνος δεν δουλεύει υπέρ μας. Τώρα, στην θεματική τη δική μας που είναι το Blue Economy, θα ξεκινήσω στα αγγλικά, γιατί οι panelists είναι όπως ο Tom Lord, ο Captain Eugen Adami, η Natalia, η Loyal. Θα μιλήσουμε στα αγγλικά και αν χρειαστεί οποιαδήποτε παρέμβαση στα ελληνικά θα την κάνω. Blue Economy, for those that they are not familiar with the term, the European Union gave a very simple definition. All activities related to the oceans, seas, and coast. And it is particularly important for Limassol, for the whole world is important. Just to mention one indicator to show the importance, in Europe approximately 5 million people are working, have direct employment to the blue economy sectors. In Cyprus, we have approximately 40,000 employees directly employed to the sectors of the blue economy, which is approximately 10% of the total Cyprus workforce. Indicatively, to mention, the sector of the coastal tourism contributes approximately 12% to the GDP of the country, and the shipping 7%, and the radically evolving Marina sector, with Marina now coming in Larnaca, in Paphos, and Ayana by Limassol is also a very important sector, an emerging sector for Cyprus. So the blue economy is very important, and Limassol rightfully can claim that is the, let's say, the driving force of the blue economy. If you just consider that across this beautiful bay, the beautiful Limassol coast, many sectors has gathered, and they are contributed to the economy for diachronically, I have to say. And therefore, rightfully, we can say that Limassol and the Limassolian depend and they reside to these blue economy sectors. So, I would like to start the question to the panelists. I don't want to make any presentation. Last to mention, I would like to make one small clarification to the previously discussions made this morning. There are many educational providers at the moment in Cyprus. TEPAC is an educational provider of maritime studies, of sea-related professions. Frederick University, CIIM, and many other, they are offering maritime programs, and I have to say that we, comparatively with England and Netherlands, we are doing well. So where to focus is not to have more providers, but to improve the quality of our program studies. As more clarification to what has been discussed this morning. So I would like to address my first question to Captain Adami, because I previously heard so many times the word collaboration. We have to team up. We have to obtain synergies. It's been as of yesterday that this is the key words of all the speeches. And Captain Adami, since he's the chairman of CyFoS, Cyprus Foundation of the Sea, which is the Cyprus cluster organization of the blue economy, I would like to ask you, Captain Adami, how can you effectively, as an organization, help towards achieving collaboration?
Yeah, it is, of course, the objectivity of a cluster organization to facilitate collaboration. How we can do that is by addressing the burning question. And one of the very burning questions which we heard today is sustainability, energy saving, blue economy, etc., etc. It is all about that we are reversing the climate change. And in order to do that, it is really necessary that we take an approach of our overall emissions from the beginning of a product until the end of the product, including the reusable time. So that means we should collaborate among the stakeholders to that extent that we say, what is our target, what we have to achieve? Mobility, okay. How are we going to do that? Technology, okay. How are we retiring that technology afterwards? i.e. to turn it into the circular economy, what we heard in the morning session. But that circular economy motion must be reconfirmed to be energy and CO2 neutral, or maybe even minus. For this, we need the cluster to work together, because that is academic work now in modeling our future approaches to verify whether we are carbon neutral or not. And I believe this can only be done in collaboration through a cluster, where we bring the regulatory objective to turn Limassol in carbon neutral or carbon minus, even at best, city, by doing the right things. We should not just do what everyone is simply doing, photovoltaic, renewable energy, etc., etc. It's all good. but we need the total context. So we need the holistic approach. And in holistic approach, you can only achieve when you bring all the silos together. All the stakeholders have to act together. And that is the duty of a cluster organization.
Thank you, Captain Adami. But you have been also, you are for many years in the shipping industry as a ship owner, as a ship manager. And two terms you have been the president of the Cyprus Shipping Chamber. So you know very well the observation that shipping has been very conservative to technological changes. Yeah. Do you think that the EU emission targets, the new regulations, the citizens' concerns about the environment will give you a good opportunity to change this notion?
Yes. I mean, thank you for asking this question. Ship owners and shipping companies are very, very conservative. And there is a reason for that. The asset, what the ship owners deploy, is extremely expensive. And there is a lot of own funds necessary to run such an asset. So you want to protect that asset as much as you can. And this is done in a conservative approach. But now, where it is not only competitiveness and how one company pairs against another company, now it is how collectively we can work better in order to offset emissions, in order to reduce emissions. So it is the right time now for the shipping industry to come to terms with the EU-funded programs and also the EU finger-pointing that all of us have to do something. Yes, I mean, the time is right now to bring together the stakeholders in a collaborative action. I believe it is a great opportunity for shipping companies now to do something really innovative and to digitally transform their companies into something which consumes at the end less natural resources.
Thank you, Captain Adami. So I will address my second question to Natalia Buri-Loya. She is the president of WISTA. For those that they don't know, WISTA is the Women International Shipping and Trading Association. And Natalia, I came across, when I knew that you will be here, I was searching a bit and I came across some statistics from the IMO WISTA International of 2021, if I'm not mistaken, that shows that 29% of the industry workforce is female. And in the national authorities, if I'm not mistaken, are no more than 20%. So lots of work need to be done to reach the US Sustainable Goal number 5. So what do you think? How can we attract more women to the industry?
Thank you, Angela. Just to clarify, WISTA Cyprus is a member of WISTA International, and WISTA International with the IMO undertook this first of its kind survey globally. There were two types of questionnaires included in this survey. One was directed to the industry, so to the shipping companies and so forth, and the other was directed to administrations. For understandable reasons, the content was different. A clarification on the numbers you mentioned, those actually refer, well, it showed that the industry is greatly fragmented in terms of the participation of women. Obviously, when we talk about office and clerical jobs, this percentage is higher. The higher up we go into the hierarchy, this starts to drop. And when we talk about women on board ships, seafarers, this percentage is as low as 2% around. So yes, there is more than a lot of work to be done in that respect. I had also looked at some numbers for Cyprus, if we did have any, but I did, to my knowledge at least, there was an HRDA study done back in 2016, if I remember correctly, that was addressed in general to the workforce required for the maritime industry in Cyprus. I'm not sure whether that data is still relevant today. You mentioned, and Captain Adami mentioned, the technology uptake and COVID have transformed the industry radically in a very, very short amount of time. So I think whatever assumptions we had made more than 10 years ago are no longer valid. So yes, attracting more women. First of all, we need to make everybody aware of the opportunities in shipping, in the maritime industry. As Cyprus, we have a very strong cluster when it comes to maritime services, but I wouldn't say that we are a maritime nation. And as an island, that is a little bit controversial, and it would be nice to start having a little bit more of that bond to the sea, if that's my personal uptake. This starts at a young age, from the schools, educate, train, socioeconomic, cultural shift. I have to say, and having the mayor here, that I did participate at a very interesting event initiated by the municipality of Limassol at Junior Achievement, which was focused on the blue economy. We had school kids there. I was really amazed at what they came up with and the ideas they had. And I have to say, I think the majority were girls. So yes, yay girls. If we only do the culture shift and give these girls the opportunities and the awareness of what can be done within the blue economy, I think we don't need to do more. They are more than capable to claim their rightful position there. Thereafter, WISTA is an association, and there are many others that do promote inclusion and diversity within shipping and within the maritime sector, through networking, through mentorship, through supporting, through empowering, through just raising awareness. So I think the main thing is to just create the opportunities and ensure that there is equitable access to those opportunities for everybody.
Thank you, Natalia. But do you think with more women to the industry, we will progress faster towards the innovations, towards the energy transition, technological changes? Do you think that, do you believe that?
I do believe that. I believe in general, and it's been shown and it's backed up by many studies, that diverse environments, diverse groups are more innovative. They have a better understanding and better perspective on different problems. They are able to come up with more creative solutions. They are better positioned to assess the impact of any perceived solution on various stakeholders within a problem. So yes, and I think by doing that, growth is stimulated, and that growth is then more equally distributed throughout the society, and it's not just focused on specific groups. So that in its turn will stimulate further growth and further knowledge building. So yes.
Thank you, Natalia. Now, the third question goes to Tom Lord. He's the Marina manager. Marina in Limassol is an area where we can say it's like a small community there. I have been there with the city advisor the last time, and we discussed how you can meet the challenge of energy transition and neutral climate. And perhaps you can tell us, you think, what the Marina in Limassol is doing about it.
Yeah, certainly. The industry that we're in, the yachting sector, is a very dynamic and fast-moving industry. There's a lot of investment in innovation, and there's a lot of driving new technology and exploring these new technologies that will help to manage environmental sustainability for yachts, particularly large yachts. Now, that only works if the same thing is being done in parallel at the marinas, because the marinas will facilitate their use. There's research and investment being done in alternative fuels, for example. Well, if the marinas can't supply it, then it's not something that is effective and will be introduced on a wide scale. So the marinas continue to invest as well in order to keep up with this development across the industry, particularly across the world. In Cyprus, obviously, as you've mentioned before, the industry is expanding very, very fast. Number of yachts in Cyprus is expanding very fast as well, is increasing all of the time. And the marinas offer those key points of interaction, those key points of sustainable management for yacht owners. That's where they can manage their waste. That's where they can use shore power instead of burning fuel and generators on yachts. So these are the key interaction points. The marinas, and I'll start with Limassol Marina, our environmental credentials, our environmental management has always been a key pillar of our strategy and the development of the marina. So we take part in several different international schemes whereby we make sure that we are implementing best practice, industry best practice. We want to be a pioneer in terms of marina management, operation, and offering these facilities to the customers that ultimately we're trying to attract to Cyprus for the benefit of the economy. As the Marina Association that we have formed, now that we have several other major marina development projects around the coastline, again, we're joining forces together in order to push this forward and to invite the government to work with us to develop clear regulatory framework, policing of certain aspects of environmental management, and to assist the marinas to keep pushing and keep pioneering in terms of what we can offer for environmental management.
Surveillance is an issue, I think, in the marina industry, especially now with more marinas in Cyprus. I think sooner or later the government should take some more drastic measures to enforce appropriate surveillance measures. Do you find the collaboration of the government to that respect to be good and to show some good prospects ahead? Because the citizens of Limassol, they are very much concerned about especially during summer, when the density of the traffic in the marina, about the beaches. So about the disposals of the waste disposals from the luxury yachts. So do you see the prospects developing in the positive direction?
I think the intent is certainly there. However, there's a lot of development that is required in terms of responsibility. The marinas, like I said, offer the opportunity for management of these issues, because when the yachts are in the marina, we have the facilities, the services that are enabling them to follow best practice and to manage their environmental impact in a sustainable way. All of the marinas have had the advantage, almost all of the marinas have had the advantage of being built from the ground up. So they are all integrating the very latest technologies in how to manage these sorts of issues. The marinas are also a fantastic channel of communication and education and awareness with this group, with yacht owners of all different sizes. However, once the yachts are leaving the marinas, that's not something that is under our control. What we want to do is be a part of the stakeholder group and work with the government departments in order to help develop regulation strategies for managing this industry as it continues to expand across the coastline.
Thank you, Tom. And since we have still 10 minutes before I make my conclusion, I was thinking, and I will drop again a few more interesting statistics. If we develop many projects, technology, but we fail to protect the marine ecosystem. Meaning, if I just mention that seagrass, for example, that we have plenty in the Mediterranean, especially around Limassol, they sink carbon approximately 15 times more than a tropical forest in Amazonia. So if we don't manage to balance, to have a holistic perspective to our plans, we will fail to the final sum up of the emissions. So, and then we know that a cruise ship, while operating, the emissions produced from a large cruise ship somehow is estimated like 12,000 cars, if I'm not mistaken. I was reading yesterday. So what is what the port of Limassol is doing is, as far as I know, is trying to make the shore-to-ship supply of energy, and the same as Marina does. And there is a big barrier around there, because the network is not, as far as I know from the chairman of the board of Electricity Authority, happens to be my colleague, there is a network problem where we cannot have a storage room, and we cannot have also the proper infrastructure to do this. And I wish we had in the panel one from the Ministry of Transport, but I don't know, I think there was the gentleman before. It is very important for the policymaker to see this issue, because by establishing the appropriate infrastructure at the port of Limassol, we will manage to radically and effectively decrease the emissions because of the few statistics I mentioned before. Okay? We are talking about one cruise ship, more than 12,000 of cars, and we are talking about the seagrass, which is absorbing 15 times more carbon than the tropical forests of Amazonia. So it is important issue to be raised to the policymakers the soonest. Okay.
If I just may add something to this, what you said. Of course, we have to consider the source of the energy. If we replace the diesel generator on the cruise ship with our Moni power plant, which is also driven by diesel, we have no change. So we need, first of all, to consider from where is the energy coming, and then secondary, we have to consider how we can distribute this energy to all the sectors in a way where we have a certain priority to see what is more important, what is less important, what is achievable. That is modeling. We need a modeling of how we can deploy our energy. Shipping, we can adapt. You know, the shipping industry, before we started to have communications, the shipping industry was totally carbon neutral. We had sailing ships, and the industry did what the society wanted. They wanted goods, we brought the goods. The society wanted suddenly more goods, so we had to bring more goods. How could we bring more goods? By just running the ships faster. How could we do that? By putting engines into the ships. How were the engines fueled? By fossil fuel. This is the CO2. Now, the society wants to reverse this. Okay, we are there. We do cold ironing, we do proper waste management, we do everything. But does the society want to pay double for their goods? Is the society ready to adapt all this? And this is where we have to come together. And that was so nice in the morning session and yesterday in the opening session, that we bring the people together, that we educate the people, that we tell the people precisely what we want, and also model the what we want in order to prove to the society this will make a change. And this is where we have the academia, where we have the universities. We can do the modeling. And industry, regulators, people of the society, technology people have to come together. And we can do the change.
Thank you, Captain Adami. I think we have to balance a bit the conception as a light answer to what you have said before. We are one of the, especially in Cyprus, as far as I know, we are on one of the high rate in terms of waste producing in Europe. Now, I think it's about time to conclude. I would like to thank you for your participation and for your valuable insights. And what can I say here as a conclusion? I think it is apparent from the discussion that to reach to the task of climate neutrality, And to achieve the target, it will require lots of work, a careful planning, of course, and the participation of all the stakeholders. Ports, marinas belong to a traditionally conservative industry, but now they have the opportunity to gain grounds and to progress in innovation and to also join the rest of the industries towards the target. Diversity and inclusion should be strengthened, and we have no statistics, so I will recommend that we have more demographics and more statistics in order to manage data to that respect. And definitely we need collaboration and holistic thinking. I will take the last thing you said, that when we are talking about technology, we have to think about the life cycle and particularly about the end life use and the final disposal of the technology. Thank you very much for your attendance and participation.